Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to the latest episode of the Hard Compound Live. For those of you who don't know, if you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Rich and I run and operate the Hard Compound. We're a one-stop shop for all things motorsport, and we can be found on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Just search for the Hard Compound on any of those, and you'll find us. Come and give us a follow. We usually put out 2 or 3 posts a day, morning, lunchtime, and evening here in the UK. And these take the form of race reviews, race previews, throwbacks, birthdays, favourite cars, and anything else we can shake a stick at, really. And we cover everything from F1 to IndyCar, touring cars, NASCAR, rally, bikes, and if there is anything in between, we try and cover that as well. Yeah, do come along, come and give us a follow, and we can all share our love of motorsport. In case you hadn't noticed already, we do live video interviews. These are broadcast on our Facebook, YouTube, and our Twitter channels. They're also automatically recorded and saved in the video section on Facebook and in the live section on our YouTube channel. And I'm in the process of putting all the audio onto a podcast provided for you all to retrospectively download to all the chats that we've done, all 115 of them or so. I'm not going too long, but as I said, we've had some fantastic guests on the show in the past. The likes of Mr. Mario Andretti, Mr. Jackie Ix. We've had just a few weeks ago with like Chip Ganassi came on. We've had guys like Derek Warwick and Mark Blundell and Ari Lyondike, and we had like Will Power, David Brabham, Stefan Johansson, Alex Caffey, racking brain, many terrific guests from across the motorsport spectrum, most of the British touring car grid, past and present. And tonight we have a guest I've been very much looking forward to speak to for a very long time. Absolutely brilliant guy, great driver. Unfortunate victim of circumstance, perhaps, but a rival of Ayrton Senna. He beat him. He's tested for McLaren. He's rested in British F3, in Formula Ford, in IndyCar, in Can-Am, in touring cars, and he had an interesting experience in Africa as well. So we're going to cover all that tonight. We're all ready. So without any further ado, please join me in extending a very warm welcome to the brilliant Quique Mansilla.
All right, guys. Nice being with you. Nice. Good evening to the UK and all Europe. We here in South America, we are enjoying a very warm afternoon. I know you guys not. You're rather fresh over there.
Definitely not.
That's the way it is. You guys are the northern hemisphere. We're enjoying the south, sunny.
A nice warm Christmas. We don't get those. We just get wet.
Very sometimes too hot. 30s, 32s, 33s. But that's the way it is down south.
That sounds crazy at Christmas. Yeah, us guys up in the north, we're not used to it. But no, Quique, thank you so much for coming on and having a chat. As I said, I've been looking forward to this. You've got a heck of a story and a journey to tell, and I can't wait to go into it. But yeah, thank you for sparing some of your late afternoon, I suppose, isn't it, where you are?
Yep. It's about 5 o'clock, 8 minutes past 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Good stuff. Well, as I said, we've got plenty to get through, and just looking through all the research and the stories and stuff, it just makes me smile. There's a lot of stuff. We're going to spend a lot of time smiling, I think. Just want to pay attention very to the comment section. Hello, guys. Keith Mail, Roger Argar, Simon Steele, Marion Speed, and all the others who are commenting already. Hello, folks. I hope you're well. Thank you for tuning in. Do put them in there. We'll see them in real time, hopefully, if everything's working. And we'll work them into the chat as we go. Yes, I guess the best place to start is at the start. Obviously, you're from a small town in Argentina called Buenos Aires. It's absolutely. Where did your love of motorsport come from? Where did it all start? Was it cars, bikes, father, friend?
Nothing really. I was. I come from a working class family. My father loved motor racing, and he used to always carry me on to the autodrome of Buenos Aires, to the circuit of Buenos Aires, to go see events. And I always had that for speed and noise and vibrance. That's the way it all started at the age of 5. Naturally, no motor racing. Uh, I'm a I'm an old fellow because I never raced apart from what I raced in England. I never raced in Argentina. I went
Really?
to England to. In fact, I was in a school here of motor racing, like Jim Russell was in the UK, and my school grant me and sent me to Jim Russell in 1979.
Wow.
So I was such a good pupil that they say, you must race for us. So
Wow.
I went on to race in 1980 with Jim Russell Racing. That was taken care of by John Kirkpatrick in those days. And well, that's the way I started with Louis Schaefer. And it was an interesting year, a lot of
Wow.
incidents and accidents, and nothing. It was the beginning of my career. So we could easily say that in March 1980 in England started my racing career.
Wow. See, that's amazing because I was doing research and stuff and various sources, and I could find it, and I was thinking he must have done something before 1979, and I was trying to find out whether it was karting or whether you were on bikes or whether you were doing anything. And I'm kind of glad that you weren't doing anything because I thought I'd failed.
Well, that's what I always pointed. In fact, in many interviews that I had in England with Motoring News and with Autosport, they always ask me what you've done before you came up here. Nothing. What do you mean nothing? No, I never raced. I came up. How the hell it all started? I started in a racing school. I just got granted a scholarship, sent me to Jim Russell. Jim Russell put me through all different tests to say this guy is good. So let's go
Wow.
race, and I did it. That was it.
Easy. No. but
Easy.
but it's strange because the vast majority of people that we speak to on here, whether they're a young racer now or they've had their career or they're in the middle of it or whatever it might be, they've always said I started in karting and I learned this and I learned that and I moved up and I did this and I did that and I had to learn my craft and learn how to do things.
Yeah.
It sounds like you could just do it. It was
Yes.
something that came quite naturally to you.
Yeah, that's correct. I had a couple. I still have it because I do different things and I could do it to just adjust myself to do things very quickly. And in those days, I had the likes of Moreno and Bosell, Jonathan Palmer. I had tough guys racing with me, Louis Schaefer. I mean, a lot of good guys that had plenty of experience. Like it happened when, at the end of 1980, Ralph Firman said to John Kirkpatrick, I want to test Quique. Please tell him if he wants to be a works driver. Imagine. Everybody wanted to go race with Van Diemen. So I went, test me, and say, you okay? You stay. And then Toledano came, and we were happy, just a happy couple, a Mexican and Argentinian, enjoying a beautiful British weather in January and February, when Chico Serra came with this little guy that used to race in go-karts and asked Ralph if he could be part. Ralph asked Afi and I if we had any issues with us. I said, no problem. Brazilians, I go vacations in Brazil is great. Alfie Toledano said the same. So we welcome. We didn't know how good the guy was. Otherwise, we would have let him in. But that was it.
Fantastic.
It was fun.
I'd say, I mean, you mentioned about Mr. Borzell there. I mean, I had him on at the start of the year for a chat, and I asked him about the little fight he had with Chico Serra. He goes, "Oh, it was nothing. It was nothing." I was like, "Really? You two?
Yeah.
Come on." Um, but I mean, just so you've gone through the racing school and you've come over to the UK, Ralph Firm and everything like that. Just quickly, when you were said you had an interest in racing, just to go back one little step. I mean, obviously the big name in Argentinian motorsport is obviously Juan Manuel Fangio, absolute greatest of all time, to many people. And you had like Carlos Reutemann was making his way through. Did you look up to those guys? Did you think, oh, maybe
Yeah,
one
yeah.
day?
We always had our icon was Fangio and Froilan Gonzalez and Marimon. And naturally, as I was growing up, it was Reutemann. And one day I was serving the National Army. It was compulsory in those days in Argentina. In my empty hours, I was just reading motor racing like an Autosport local Corsa magazine, and in those days was a hot magazine. And I was spotted a small ad saying, the name of the school, the best drivers will be choose to be part of our team.
Right.
And I called and I said, well, how is it going to be? How much is it going to cost? Blah blah blah. So when I finished with the National Army, it was 15 months service. I said to my dad, before I go on to university, to college, I want to do this, Dad. And I said, oh, no, your mother is going to start bitching. She doesn't want us to ride bikes and nothing at speed, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, let's go anyhow. We go look. We went on to look and we started. Then my mom just said, well, okay, okay. Those days in Argentina were tough days.
Mm.
We have the problem, a lot of issues that was going on in South America, and nothing. I started and I was good. Simple as that. I was good. The school did what it did to select within 130 kids to send one, and I won. Off I went. Without being able to say hello in English. Was
I
so
mean,
funny.
well, that's what I was going to say. Like, you've done that. You've done the racing school. You've answered an ad. You've done it. You've done well. And all of a sudden, you're on the way to the UK, which, I guess, I don't know what time of year it was, but it was probably cold because it usually is.
It's
Um,
always.
Standard. And and you said you could barely speak any English. And all of a sudden, what was it? You're in the UK, Formula Ford, was it 1600, wasn't it? You were going into.
Correct. 1600.
What did you think when you got here? Did you think, I'm here, what am I doing? Or what was your thought process when you got here?
Well, just to make a reference, it took me 5 hours to get from Heathrow Airport to Dannon Market. So I was complicated, man, going left and right, but I got there anyhow. No, really, I had the previous experience during '79, so I went nicely. I didn't. It didn't bother me the food like everybody complains. It didn't bother me so much the weather. I didn't mind not being able to communicate, and that communicate is very important. I was alone. I was a kid. I had my dreams. I wanted to push it as further as I could possibly can. It wasn't easy. The money wasn't flowing. Everything from 79 and 1980 was paid by my parents. And a season, you used to spend about 50 grand, it was a lot of money. So we sold the bike, the boats, an apartment, and we collected money, and off I went racing.
Wow.
So I enjoy it. I enjoy my moment. It wasn't easy. In fact, I had my English ID, so I asked John. I had John Kilpatrick say, "John, I give you my passport." I give you my return ticket. Only if my dad calls you, you will return it to me because I might chicken out and I want to go back home. So don't do that. Don't do that.
Just
And
keep hold of it.
in fact, I never asked that because I enjoy the family.
Brilliant.
It was tough, but that's the way it is. Nothing easy.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And just sort of getting into the car for the first time. The first time you got into the car, obviously you'd done, bits of racing and bits and pieces at the racing school. What did you think of the car when you first got in it and you first did and you did your first laps?
I have no comparison. I mean, the school cars are the school cars. Um, the school cars from Jim Bradford are more or less the ones that I used here in Argentina. So the race car, I mean, the excitement of the moment was I was in Silverstone, I was in Snetterton, I was in Mallory Park, in Brands Hatch. It was a Brands Hatch and Silverstone were always wow, for everybody around the globe, and which it still is anyhow. And that was the sensation, going down paddock, you know, go stove and clav, doing those things that I once saw on TV.
Wow.
It was good.
Fantastic. I mean, just on that, I mean, because I live quite close to, I mean, I'm about an hour from Silverstone and about an hour and a half from Brands Hatch. And they're the circuits that I just went to so often when I was a kid. And I still find it amazing that people from around the world, especially Brands Hatch, everyone talks about Brands Hatch on here. Everyone who comes on, no matter where in the world they're from, we had like Greg Murphy, the like Australian touring car driver, and Danny Sullivan, even Mario Andretti, and guys like and Ralph Wazell, and from all over the world. You all love Brands Hatch, even the Brits. Everyone loves Brands Hatch.
Everybody. I mean, it was such a challenging circuit. I mean, it's one of those circuits that you could not make mistakes. If you make a mistake, you pay a car. You pay hard. But that's the way it is. That's the way things go. Nowadays the racetracks are, too secure for me.
Too much runoff.
You don't beat the wall ever. In those days, we had circuits that, like Catwood Park. I don't know if you know it. Catwood Park was fantastic.
And it's narrow. It's a very narrow circuit.
Yeah, very narrow. And you got to go fast there. And you got to play hard. So if you don't play hard, you don't play.
Yeah, fantastic circuit. I love it. Absolutely brilliant. We've got a question here about Brands Hatch. We're going to come to that in a minute from Roger Algar. But I mean, that first season, and you're racing and you're learning the circuits and it's a new country. I mean, they say everyone has a memory of their first race. Do you remember yours? Your first race?
I can't remember which one was the first one. I can't remember nowadays, but I think it was in Snetterton. I probably finished 6th, 7th. I was always there.
Yeah.
I just couldn't beat the guys that were in front, like Roberto, Raul, Louis Sheffer, JP, Ricky Morris.
Oh, yeah.
Ricky, great friend, Ricky Morris. I love Ricky. Hi, Ricky. You and I, forever.
Still mates. Fantastic. I mean, I guess you didn't have any expectations going into the season. It was just let's go and race and see where we, and just see where we are.
I didn't have any expectations. I just went on racing. My aim was learn, acquaint myself with all circuits and people and language, and trying to mix. Towards the end of 1980, yes, I just pushed myself a little harder, and so sometimes a third spot there, because Formula 4 in those days were tough because the battles were titanics. There were 7, 8, 10 cars battling for the lead. You could be 7th in one lap, 1st in the other, and 10th in the other. So it was crazy. It was nice. One thing that I always loved about British is how much they love motor racing, because doesn't matter the weather, doesn't matter the categories, they will all go there, and you will always see the paddocks, and you will always see the stands full of people,
Yeah,
which is amazing. So you get acquainted to race with people around.
yeah,
It's quite nice.
fantastic. Well, great way to start racing. And you had
Yeah,
your first year, and you got some better results towards the end of the year. 1981, you end up being teammates with some Brazilian fella, Ayrton something. Obviously, you've
da
ended up being
Silva, da
that
Silva in those days.
Ayrton Senna da Silva. That's him. Obviously, we all know him. I mean, you ended up being teammates with him. This is only your second year of racing properly. Everyone I've spoken to who met Ayrton or raced with him just said you could tell how good he was naturally and how
Absolutely,
determined he was. So I guess that
totally.
you found the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely, he was a tough guy to be with. In fact, I learned from him. Uh, I learned a lot from him in the wet. In fact, he taught me how to race in the wet. I was fast, but I was just about having a shunt in every corner. So he said, "No, Kiki, this is not the way. This is the way. Now you follow me." So I follow him. I say, "Wow, that's easy, man, and we're going fast." so, so that's what I said about him. He was a nice guy. The
Yeah.
problem is when he cranked his helmet, he was an animal. And
There's a
he was
lot
a
of
tough
people have said
cookie.
that. A
He was
lot
a
of people have said that. I think it was Alex Caffey. He said he was in '86. He was in the Osella, and he said the only person that came up to him on his debut weekend, I think it was at Monza. I think he said it was Ayrton Senna, and he said he was so nice to me and he was lovely. He came over, he spoke to me, and he wished me well.
yeah,
And then I got in his way on a practice lap, and he almost
yeah,
punched me through my helmet.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He would do that. I'm the first one. I'm proud to be the first one. Yeah,
Well, I did see a picture of you and him at Mallory Park. We're going to come to that very shortly. It's quite a famous
yeah, yeah.
photo now. But I mean, you said that he helped you a lot and things like that. Um, just over the season that year, obviously, you've got a bit of experience by this point, and there was a number of different championships running within 1600. It was the
Yes.
excuse me, what was it? It was a Townsend Thorson and the RAC titles, which Ayrton won. But I've got here that you took the BARC championship.
Yes.
You actually won that title.
You
And
had three. You had three championships.
yeah,
You had the Thousand Tourism Ferries, the P&O Ferries, and the RAC. Um, we we raced with Arton only 5 races
yeah.
before Ralph Freeman said, "Guys, I have to split you because you're not doing things that you're supposed to do. So you go one way, you go the other, and you're gonna get together in the RAC." For me, it was fine. Uh, we couldn't continue bumping each other off while Ricky Morris was saying, "Hey guys, thanks. Hey Ralph Furman, thanks for
Guys,
bumping
carry
me.
on.
I'm first." I always remember that in Brands Hatch. And Ralph was mad. He was about to kill us because we all bumping each other off with
Well,
Alfie, with Ayrton, and myself. So
but
it was
that
a
leads on to the question we had from like Roger Algar, evening Roger. He said, he said, what did Ralph Furman say to you and Alfonso after you both crashed out of the 1981 Formula Ford Festival at Brands Hatch? He saw Ralph in the paddock afterwards, and he did not look happy.
no. Well, Ralphie was upset. Uh, what happened? I we start that heat or semi-final. I can't remember. And I didn't start very well from pole position in Brands Hatch. You know that you got to do it well, or the one who is on the other side, you'll take you outside. And I couldn't pass Alfie. I couldn't pass. I couldn't get him. And I tried one that was, I mean, Australopithecus, impossible. And he didn't give up. And you know how it is. You takes two to have one shot. And off we went. But Ralph was not the problem that afternoon. Mama Toledano was the problem.
Right.
Mama Toledano wanted to kill me. It was so funny.
Oh,
I
dear.
still remember poor Mama Toledano. She suffered a lot with Alfie Bandit.
Yeah.
But that's the way it goes, I mean, when you got guys that don't want to give up, those the things that happens. I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
wasn't clever to do what we did because all we have to do is finish 1-2 or 2-1, whatever,
Yeah.
and get to the final to do the job. But
Yeah.
luckily, those days, Ralph put Tommy Byrne, and Tommy Byrne had a lot more experience. He was much more clever than us, and he won it. Simple as that.
I mean, I had Tommy on here about 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and he just said, he sort of kept downplaying it. He just said, "Well, I knew I was good, but got a bit lucky with the engine and the patch engine and this and that and everything else." But yeah, I mean, he was a good guy, wasn't he, Tommy? Yeah, he was a great racer. Very,
His
very.
character. He's a very straight body, but it's okay. Everybody is the way it is.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had my. I'm sure I had my ways, strange things, and my positive things. Ayrton was the way he was. Alfie was the way he was.
yeah,
I don't know. Everybody's different.
yeah. Everyone does it their way, and who's to say what's right and wrong? Absolutely.
Right. That's the
Yeah.
way it is. Who doesn't like it? Hey, stuff it.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff it, exactly. I mean, I just had a look at the results though that you had in the BARC. I've got here across the season. You won a lot of races. I mean, you had 2 wins at Brands, 2 at Cadwell, 2 at Snetterton, 1 at Alton Park, 1 at Mallory Park, and 1 at Thruxton. You must have been loving it. You must have been really enjoying that year with the
Yeah,
results you were getting.
naturally, I had a very good car, like we all had at Van Diemen's, and I enjoy that. I was, you know, even the first time that I sat in a works car, I realized how more fast was uh, the car. So I understood many things that happened during 1980. So I really enjoy it. I enjoyed being with Ralph, with Angie, his wife. I enjoyed being with Ayrton, with uh, Alfie. It was a good family. We had a lot of good moments.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, just on that subject, I mean, obviously, I've just mentioned a few circuits there. I like to think we've got some good ones on this little island of ours. Obviously, you said you love Brands Hatch. Was there any others that you like racing on? Because I'm personally a big fan of Thruxton, and I'm a big fan of Donington Park. They're the two that I love.
I
As a racer, which ones did you enjoy?
I don't mind Thruxton. I just didn't like to run with exhaust pipe. And the one that I really loved it was Alton and Cadwell Park. Those two,
Excellent circuit.
fantastic. I mean, Alton, you had to drive, and also you got the guardrail there. If you make a mistake, boomba. So
Yeah.
the ones who have it well put down there,
Yeah.
that's going quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's so
absolutely.
funny.
And you mentioned Cadwell Park. Obviously, I don't know if anyone is tuning into this. They like their bike racing, but if you want to go and see something that is going to make you hold your breath, go and watch bike racing at Cadwell
Yeah.
Park. My goodness
Yes.
me, crazy.
Fantastic circuit. Fantastic
That's
circuit.
terrific. As you go up the mountain, the big hill.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was so nice to drive there. I mean, I used to love it.
Yeah.
In fact, I had the outright lap record into the 90s because in Formula 3, I had the out lap record and up to, I can't remember what year it was that I went to England and say, "Hey, I beat your lap record." I think it was 94 or something
Wow.
around there. I didn't know. So it was good.
We'll have to have a little plaque with your name on it or something. You have the Quique Mansilla, I don't know, Quique Mansilla, I don't know, Marshall's Tower or something. Yeah, with your name on it.
I was getting along okay with everybody. So that's why I go to England every time and then. And I always got a lot of compliments. They say, what a shame what a shame your racing career stopped by
Yeah.
forces that they had nothing to do with you or
Yes.
beyond your control.
Yeah.
But that's the way, that's life.
Yeah.
Sometimes people make it and sometimes don't. I'm the ones that didn't make it.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Just what happened at the time, and we're going to come to that very shortly. I mean, just one thing I did. We mentioned that thing about you and Ayrton at Mallory Park, where he had you in around the neck. What actually happened? Because I know all I've read is there was a bit of an accident, or there was a bit of contact, and Ayrton
Not
got
really.
a bit upset.
Not really. I mean, I for once did what he used to do to me, so he got pissed off because of that. That was all. There was nothing much to that. I didn't do it purposely. I just I understood how the guy worked, and I made the move just in a split of a second. He did it. I just touched his nose, touched my rear left uh, tire, so he put two wheels in the dirt, and we got to the hairpin, and I won, and that was it. Nothing much. Then he came out being a South American. But
I'm glad you said that.
I mean, I was the first one.
Yeah.
How many more happened after? I mean,
Yeah.
poor old Martin Brundle. He ended up
He had it on his
upside
head.
down with him. Alain Prost, I don't know how many more.
Loads of them.
Schumacher.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like at least he didn't park his car on your head like he did with Brundle.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Just before we
It was
skip
a
on,
TDI racing.
no, yeah, great, yeah. Just before we skip on to F3, this has come up. A few people have sent me messages asking if you ever worked with Sergio Rinland, your countryman who worked with Formula Ford and things like that. I was just wondering if you worked with him at all.
No. We never worked as a driver engineer. I had the pleasure of being the first one that met him when Scalabroni and Sergio came to England. Sergio came to England to work for another fellow driver, that Enrique Benamo, who used to race here in Argentina and went up there. They were young kids. I mean, Sergio was a young kid too, and they went up to work together. Then, when the saga finished with Benamo, in one way or other, he got to talk to Steve in PRS, and he went on to work with PRS, and then he designed a car for PRS, and we sort of split because we were, different weekends and things like that. But he's always been a buddy. In fact, I was there a few months ago, and we had dinner in his home and share moments, remember things from the good old days. I mean, he's another British guy now. He's no more Argy. He's there, man.
Interesting choice. Yeah.
Well,
Right. No, it's a shame you didn't really work with him, but obviously, as you said, he's he did some terrific things, didn't he? And yeah, very, very good.
he done a lot of good jobs.
Yeah.
He done a lot of good jobs. He's a very, very interesting person. He did a lot of good works for Brabhams, for March, or for
I was going to say it was March, wasn't it? Yeah.
Williams. He worked for a lot of good teams, but you know how it's Formula One is a man-eating machine. And sometimes, it's like I told you, some people make it, some don't. Not because they're bad or good or weak or whatever. That's the way it is.
Yeah, it's just what's going on at the time. So
yeah, time and space.
Yep, often doesn't quite line up. Right, so you stepped up to F3 with Dick Bennett and West Surrey Racing. I had Dick Bennett on here a couple of years ago. Absolute legend, brilliant guy. I did mention to him that you're going to come on this evening, so he said he might drop in. Yeah, it was a bit of like a step up. Was it your first real experience of a wing car when you got into F3 with the
All
ruts?
right. No, it was an absolute my first experience. I mean,
Wow.
it was a challenge when I went to talk to Dicky towards the end of '81. I said, "Look, this is what I am. I don't have experience. I'm fast. You have to help me to learn." So we went up and down, and he took the challenge to take me, and I absolutely sure that if it wasn't because outside powers, we wouldn't won the championship. I know that, but
Well, he
doesn't matter.
actually put a little comment on the something I put out a couple of days ago, saying, obviously we'll come to the outside thing in a minute, but he said if it wasn't, he said it was a tough year even without that, but he said that you did a terrific job and
Yeah.
to take it to second overall and being so close to that fella Burn again. He said it was an amazing job. It was an amazing job that you did.
I could tell you how it was. It took me a while to understand the aerodynamics. It took me a while. It took only 3-4 races, no, not too much. And in that early stage of the championship, Tommy was just winning everyone. So
I think he won 5 of the first 7. I think.
right on. I can't
Yeah.
remember. He won. He 10 points, 10 points, 10 points, and we were there. I mean, the first race, I got disqualified. I remember that. I got disqualified for overtaking on the yellow flag. Second race, I think I finished third, so I was there. And then the third race, I was sixth. And all of a sudden, I went on to finish second in Snetterton, one in Mallory Park, and I started challenging Tommy.
Yeah.
Then, when you see the season all, you see that we started in March, and in April, things started all wrong for me and for our team. And we really suffer lack of money from April all the way up to November.
Wow.
So it was tough, man. Emotionally, it was tough. Economically, it was tough. I had to do all sorts of things to get some money. I always remember Mr. Bashford, glory to him, my bank manager from Barclays Bank. He was such a good guy because he puts his box in the table, say, "I'm gonna help you, Kiki. You won't drop because I know you're a good guy."
Wow.
And I couldn't touch the money, but Dicky could touch the money. So Dicky was throwing whatever we needed to keep going.
Wow.
So it was tough. And what happened? Yeah, up to the middle of the season, I was in second challenging Tommy. Then Tommy had that drive with Ensign. I think it was Ensign. Yes.
Was it Theodore?
Theodore. I'm
Theodore.
sorry. Apologize.
It was 3 weeks ago. I should remember.
Yeah, he got the drive with Theodore.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
he skipped, I don't know how many races, 4 or 5 races.
I think he said.
I started winning.
I think it was 6 Grand Prix, and he started 2 of them or 3 of them. I can't remember.
Yeah, I know he had a tough time.
Yeah.
But regardless, so I start winning. I start piling up points. And what happened? The last 4 races, I remember race 15, 16 of the 20, we didn't have a penny. I mean, we were going to the races Saturday morning because we couldn't spend in hotels and things like that. So Tommy didn't have it better anyhow. So we were both suffering with economic issues. But what I'm saying is it was psychologically, economically, a lot of pressure. I mean, it wasn't easy. I was at 1 minute I was criticized in Argentina. I'm talking about now. I was criticized. The next minute I was, oh, you're great because you stay. Oh no, you're an asshole because you stay. It was, a lot of noise. So I did a good job. I know we West Area Racing did a fantastic job for me, and I love Dicky and I own Dicky forever.
Wow.
Um, because he really tried for me. In
Yeah.
fact, we're still buddies now, and my son lived with him many months through the pandemic, and then
Wow.
yeah, Dorian was there in 2020 racing
Cool.
Porsche 3 Cup GV, and nothing. He keeps being the same Dicky. Dicky is fantastic.
Yeah. He hasn't checked. Yeah, and as you say, he's still a brilliant guy. I bumped into him at
Yeah,
Silverstone earlier this
absolutely.
year and had a quick
He
chat.
keeps
Just a proper genuine guy.
Yes, that's
Really
what
great
that's what
guy.
I'm talking about. He will mean white, nothing of gray,
Yeah.
and he could set up the car over the telephone. Man, he's so clever. He's
Wow.
amazing. He's
Brilliant.
amazing. Brilliant, brilliant fellow.
Just one thing about that year. Obviously, in the end, you lost out. I think it was just by 2 points to
Yeah,
Tommy. But I did spot at the end of the year, because I didn't realise this. Martin Brundle came in, was at the last 4
yeah,
races and just won them all. I
yeah.
was like, Martin, get out.
John Judd finally got the hang of the lower end power of the Volkswagen engine, and man, he was just flying. Dave Scott and Martin Brando, they were using those engines, they were flying.
Yeah.
And as we were getting towards the end, as I said, we had no money. We're striving with to buy rubbers, to buy tires, and very little money to do the job properly. But I I I'm very grateful to Dave Stevens, to Ian Patton. They were my two mechanics because they never give up. Dick was fantastic. He was there all the time. We worked day and night to get the car running well. Shame we didn't go the price, but really, in the end, as I said to the late Brian Kreisky in Traston, I say, I don't care whether I won the championship or not, because everybody knows the quality of Tommy Byrne and knows the quality of Quique Mansilla. From now on, it's one step more. I fully understood that I had talent, but no a lot of experience. So I need to do more experience to get to the top.
Sure.
So I discarded to do Formula One, like the aspirations that I have some others. And I said, well, I got to do something. I don't know what because I don't have money. But so my nightmare started in 82 and ended up in 85
Right.
because I
Wow.
raised 83 without money, 84 without money, 85 without money. I've always hanging there. Hey, Kiki, come and drive. I was gone and driving. But that's the way it is. And you know something? Not being able to do or provide the funds to do the job properly, he ends up being what it is.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
And people say, oh, those drivers who have got the money these days get the drives these days. There's no these days about it. It's always been the case, isn't it? If you bring money, you've got a much better chance of getting into a team.
I mean,
It's an expensive thing to do, isn't it?
in my days, uh, you have to bring money and you have to have talent. Nowadays, if you have talent, connections, commercial connections,
Yeah.
which lead on to bringing money to the team, it helps. I mean, what else? I mean, being an Argentinian in those days it was not a help, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
we're gonna get to
cool.
that very, very soon.
I mean,
Oh,
I remember the British American Tobacco's president telling me, Kiki, we love you. You're a little British guy. We like your personality. We love everything of you, but you're Argentinian.
You're from the wrong country.
I have to let you go. I can't support you
Oh,
because I asked, hey, don't let me down. Help me do
yeah.
something. He said to me, I can't do it. You're Argentinian.
Wow.
Finished. So it was tough.
Yeah, I bet.
Emotionally, it was very, very tough for me.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah. When I come to the F1 test in just a moment, but we've got to say, I've just seen like Stuart Dent has just put a comment in. Firstly, thank you, Stuart, for putting me and Quique in touch. Thank you very much. Stuart Dent basically made this chat happen, and he's just put the little emoji thing. And this is a good time to approach it. A green pepper, right? Now I've seen you two having a chat about peppers, and I messaged Stuart saying, "What's that all about?" The peppers thing, and he said, "It's a pepper, one pepper," and I went, "This has just got very sinister. What's going on? Can you please enlighten me for this pepper thing?"
I mean, in those days, I'm crying, man, because I remember I so cracking. And Stuart was sort of having a moment in his life, so he came out to live with me. And I was so poor myself that Kenny Atchison, that's why also Kenny is an adorable person to me.
We love
He
Kenny.
found me, Kenny found me uh, through his business some money, some sponsorship.
Okay.
So we come back with Stuart from one race. We go home and we have water from the tap and one pepper in the fridge. That was all we had to eat. So he came, he came for years, that joke, It was so funny. It was so funny, man. I swear. But we had a laugh. We're pure, we were kids. We didn't have a problem. I mean, it was so good. Life was, I mean, you don't realize how good it is to be able to remember this moment and laugh as crazy because it was very funny. It was very
I've just
funny.
got this image of you two sitting around a table with half a pepper each, just sort of.
No, we didn't take a picture of that. We never done that. But when it was so funny, we laugh as crazy.
Brilliant! I love it. Barely enough
So,
food in the fridge. Fantastic. Okay, so from one pepper in the fridge to a test with McLaren, slightly different.
yes,
Obviously,
it was so funny, eh?
okay. I spoke with Tommy about this a few weeks ago. Obviously, he won the championship. You came second,
Yes.
and your prize, your reward for that was a test with McLaren. I believe it was. Oh, I can't remember. It was you and Tommy. I think Thierry Boutsen was there because of he had
Stefan
Marlboro,
Johansson.
as did Stefan
He was,
Johansson,
yes, he was there.
and there was someone
Stefan
else, wasn't there?
Johansson, Dave Scott,
Dave Scott.
Terry Boutsen, Tommy, and myself.
Yeah. Just like a quick word on Stefan Johansson. I had him on again a couple of years ago. What a brilliant guy. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Absolutely.
Really
Great fellow.
yeah. And now he owns an art studio on Santa Monica Boulevard in Los Angeles, as you do, Very nice. But yeah, the McLaren test. Now, Tommy, bless him, he said that he'd had a party the night before, shall we say, and he turned up with two young ladies. And then when he got to Silverstone, he thought, I can't be seen with these two. And so he sort of passed them off to someone else and then went and was all professional with McLaren. What was it like for you arriving at Silverstone on that day to test the McLaren? Did you have any sort of preconceptions, any ideas about what the car might be like? Or?
No. Well, I saw the car many times before because in those days, McLaren was doing my engines for Dickey.
Oh,
So
of course. Yes.
I was used to going with Dickey to the factory, so it was nothing that I seen or touch. Naturally, it was a big emotion for me because I want you to see what I'm going to say. I started motor racing live March 1980, and in November of 1982. I
82.
was sitting in the Formula One. That was that for me was the epitome, the top of the top,
That's incredible.
because
32
and I
months.
took it as he was. I took it. Well, I'm a lucky guy. I did my job so far until now. I've been uh, joining forces that are productive. They produce results. That's the prize. Enjoy it. And that's what I did. I just enjoy it. I didn't want to beat anybody. I didn't care the time. Um, I guess I was the slowest of all. But again, I mean, I enjoy John Watson talking. I enjoy the guys that we're still friends, the mechanics that
Brilliant.
were working, and nothing.
Wow.
It was an outstanding experience that I keep it in my heart forever. I thank
Fantastic.
the McLaren team very much for that. In this case, the British American Tabacs, uh, Dick Bennett's, and everybody who was around me supporting me in a season that couldn't end better. I mean, after all that I went through, because the Falklands War, that was a prize, man. That was a
Yeah,
prize.
I mean that's obviously what it caused you most of the problems in the end. But just quickly, with that McLaren test, obviously you had a very different approach to it to Tommy. Tommy just went out there and he went faster than I think he went faster than Lauda had done, and obviously Lauda and Watson. But he knew there wasn't a drive, and he was thinking, "What's my next route?" It sounds like you were just there and you enjoyed it. Um, it must have been fantastic just driving that car around Silverstone, because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
probably said it was a bit of a wet day and it was a bit grey, but he said it was
Typical
fantastic.
British weather, man. Typical British weather. In the morning it was damp, and then it's got to dry. In
Yeah,
the afternoon was nice.
brilliant, brilliant. And it must have been a great car to drive as well. You must have just been loving
Yeah.
it going around there. It must have been
Yeah,
superb.
well, it was one of the last cars with the skirts. Remember?
Oh yes, with the ground effect, the
And
skirts.
I mean, my issues were basically a stolen clap. Um, I just couldn't do it properly. I just lifted. And John said, no, 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 no lift. Just go flat. What? And, slowly and surely, I did it.
Yeah,
So my time wasn't great. But on the other hand, wasn't a rubbish too. If I put in myself to do the job properly and play hard, I could have done better, but I didn't care. I just wanted to enjoy and say thanks. I finished 1982. God, what's going to happen to me next year?
yeah.
That was all I had in my head.
Wow. I mean, I just think that's great. You just went there and enjoyed it for what it was, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
Now, Stuart Dent put another comment down here, and I'm pretty sure he's messing around here. He must be. He says, "Is it true that Quique was only given the McLaren test because he has such a great helmet design?"
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. No,
We're going
you
to
know
talk about that in a
something.
minute.
You know
Um,
something. I mean, Stuart has such an imagination and was such a good buddy
yeah,
that one day came and said to me, "Hey, Kiki, could I design your helmet?" Say yes, do it. Then Dogger was gonna paint it, so we bought a helmet. He designed it. He sent it to Dogger, painted, and it's what you see. And
it, it
I
was Stuart that designed it.
yes,
Fantastic.
yes,
I love
and you
that.
know why? And you know why? Why he did that? Because um, if you go to Second World War, the kamikazes
The Japanese, yeah,
helmets had the racing sun and the red stripes.
yeah.
So he took the sun away and he said, "This is an Argentinian kamikaze." It was so funny. It was so funny. So we have plenty of laugh with Stuart. We're
That
still
is,
very good buddies. We talk every time we have something. I mean, it's like time never went by. We we talk to each other like it was yesterday. Basically, it's 45 years since. It's been a long time. Been a long time.
Fantastic. That's absolutely brilliant. I love, 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 love that. I always love the story behind the crash helmet design, but that might be the best.
Yeah,
Argentinian kamikaze.
absolutely. And
Perfect.
everybody loved it. Everybody loves it. Uh,
Oh, it's
always telling
fantastic.
me, such a good crash helmet paint, man.
Yeah.
Who designed that? Stuart, El Diente Dent. And he said, who is the guy? A guy, a friend of mine who used to work in high market publishing, blah, blah, blah.
Fantastic. I still think McLaren missed a trick with that because it just looked good in the Marlboro McLaren,
It looked
just
good.
like
It looked
Ayrton
good.
Senna's did in the Camel Lotus. You
Correct.
know, it just worked. Should have gone with it.
Well, is the fact of being an RG, mate.
Yeah.
That will happen. In those days, I was Spanish for being an RG. I should have been Uruguayan, Peruvian from somewhere else. No, has to be from Argentina. Shit.
Could you change your passport? Could you change it to Colombia or something?
I was absolutely pointed that I was Argentinian. No way to change it. I didn't have double nationality because,
yeah.
like Mario Andretti and some of the guys, they
Yeah.
had Italian Americans and Eddie Cheever and so many other guys had double nationality. But no, I was an Argie. I was fucked.
So that's been pretty cool. You've just named a couple of people who have been on here with Mario and Eddie. But what Mario always says, he says, I'm still not entirely sure where I'm from because when I was born, it was Italy. Now I'm an Italian American, and now these days it's in Croatia. So he said, he's never been to Croatia, but apparently he was born there.
I know, so funny. So
Crazy.
so good.
And Eddie as well. He's a great guy. Great guy. Just want to touch on like F2 because you did a few races. I think it was eight or nine races in Formula 2 in 83. How did all that come about? And was it just a case of taking what drive you could get, given the circumstances?
Basically, people talk for me, and Robin Herd said we could give Quique this if Quique could bring some money. And I brought some money, but they were peanuts. So that's why I couldn't do the whole season. Bridgestone was helping a lot. Heine Mather, the engine guy, was helping a lot. I mean, without money, it didn't work. It's just simple as that. So I did what I could do to continue staying, hoping that being an Argentinian wasn't going to be such a bad problem. But things never change. And in 84, I had to decide that I couldn't do any more racing in England because nobody will give me anything. So I had to decide whether I go to Europe or America. Right. And I found it more attractive racing in America than in Italy. So I went to America because in Donington F2 event, I met a guy that wanted to buy a March car. So I connected this fellow with March. He bought an F2 car, took it to Detroit, Michigan, and made a yellow banana that you know. And so when I ran out of all hopes at the beginning of 84, I gave him a call and I said, look, I had nothing to do. Have you finished with the Can-Am F2 car? I said, no, I'm almost done, but come over. I give you a roof, I give you a car, and you keep all the prize money, which in America is good. So off I went. I had roof, I had food, and I had a Porsche to drive. so it was great. I really enjoyed that.
That's an easy choice. That's great.
Yeah. I was sitting here at home saying my life is shit. I mean, I'm busted. I didn't want to do nothing. I was depressed, basically depressed.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And this came about as a very nice, kiss. And off I went and started working, building the car. It took us a while because his job, he was an engineering guy. He used to do the tiles, the little tiles that was underneath the space shuttle.
Oh yeah, the like the heat resistant ones.
Yeah, the heat dissipator. Oh, I don't know how you call them. And
Wow.
uh, he was doing that. That was his job, and he had a big factory for that. And all of a sudden, he finished. He didn't have any more tile business, so he
Oh,
went BK. And I managed to do 2, 3 races, and off I went again
oh,
without a job. So, so I was sitting there, you know, almost crying about my life, how it went. And Ian Patton, a good buddy that used to work for me in Formula 3, he said, "Look, I have a guy that has a has a I can't remember the name of the car. He has this car and wants to hire you to do the job, wants to pay you, which is good, blah blah blah." So I took a plane and I went to Lake Bluff to see the guy. I arrived to the airport and they were waiting for me outside the plane. And all of a sudden, instead of going, the directions that everybody goes when you come out of the plane, they took me down. There was a chopper there waiting for me. I said, "Mama, oh, now we're growing. Yeah, we start again, man." So,
we've
and
arrived.
yeah, yeah. He got me to the factory. There was a big party there. From there, I could see welcome Quique Mansilla. It was a fantastic moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, to go from obviously what had happened with the fact, the Falklands conflict, you're running out of
Yeah.
money, there was no sponsorship, nobody
Amazing.
wanted to take you on.
Amazing. It was amazing. So I
To
got
that.
there and nothing. It only lasted one race because we went out to race to Three Rivers. The mechanics they had an issue with the engines and broke 4 engines with Wally Dallenbach. Do you heard about him?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
Wally Dallenbach
Yeah,
Jr. was Wally Dallenbach Jr. was my teammate for that event. Wally Dallenbach Sr. was the president of the Automobile Club of America,
yeah.
and I was a big man there. And we broke all engines, and the guy said, "That's it. Not going to race no more. So come and see me tomorrow." I went to the factory on Monday. They pay me and they put me out. So off I went, sitting in an airport, wondering what am I going to do with my life now?
My
So
God,
yeah, it was so funny, so funny. So
that's that's just incredible.
so
That's what,
at one event, I met a guy in Monte Carlo. I met a guy in Formula One. I met a guy that was in the banking system and blah blah blah. So I gave him a call in California and I say, "Look, Don, how are you? It's Kiki. Remember we met in the casino? Hey, Kiki, yeah, I do remember. You're a nice guy. Blah 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 blah." I'm wandering around without no drive. He said, "Would you like to drive a Shadow F1? I mean, IndyCar F1." I said, "My God, at this point in time, I drive anything." So, well, come over that I'm going to introduce you to Don Nichols.
I'm right.
Yeah. So off I went, met Don Nichols. You didn't know that?
No, I no, I don't the whole shadow thing. I no.
I met Don
This is
Nichols.
missing from the internet.
Probably, yeah. I met Don Nichols, and he knew about me. He said, "You're a good driver, blah, blah, blah. We have this program. We're going to do an IndyCar, and we're going to go back to F1. Would you like to drive for us?" I would love to. I have nothing to do. Nobody wants me because I'm Argentinian in Europe. And so Donald Hart, which was a sponsor, he said, "Well, I'll pay for all." And I don't know what happened there. Then all of a sudden, everything went bonkers, and I was left with nothing again.
Oh goodness me!
So,
You
so
must have been wondering what have I got to do to.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was tough.
Oh
Uh,
jeez.
So I went back to Argentina at the end of '84, and I was just sitting, you know, at home like today, and wondering what could I do with my life. I didn't want to race here in Argentina. I didn't like motor racing here. I didn't like the politics and all the things that involve here. So I said, well, maybe this is the end. You know, that's it. And all of a sudden, my buddy Ian Patton called me again. He went on to work for Hemmelgarn Racing
Yeah,
IndyCar
in the States, yeah.
in the States. And I said, Ian to me, I got you another job. Can you come over? Yeah, I go right now. Where I might have to go. So I went to, I don't know, some place I can't even remember in the States, down south. And I went on to test. We were 3, 4 guys testing the car. And I was quick, but somebody else had money. And so they said to me, well, we want to start these 3, 4 races with this driver, and we want you as a backup. I want you to come to the races, blah, blah, blah. We pay the expenses, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, I was there. At least I was there. And then they had a fellow called Michael Rowe. You probably know him, Michael.
Irish chap, yes.
And
Because
I don't know.
he'd won the Can-Am, hadn't he, the year before, I think.
Right. He won the Can-Am big ones, the 5 liter
Yeah, the big.
series. But
Yeah.
he wasn't getting along, or I don't know what happened, because when they resat me again in Elkhart Lake, he had 2 days testing, and I would jump in the car in the afternoon of the second day, and I started saying, "This is wrong. This is fine." Boom, 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 with 3 seconds faster, I think.
Wow.
We were. So they put Michael down, and they made me race. That day,
Wow.
I think I qualified 10th, 11th, somewhere out there.
And that's
And
after
they
one
were
afternoon in the car.
half a day.
Wow.
So,
Fantastic.
so they put me in the car. I did pretty well, very enthusiastic as sometimes. So I couldn't finish 7th, challenging for 6th. I screw up. I end up 9th, I think. So
I've got 9th. Yeah, I have got 9th
yeah,
here.
I screw up, and I span off and finish. That was it. Car in
But
one piece.
I did see,
And
though, the 2 guys ahead of you, you were only just behind Raul Boisel and Al Unser. I mean, you're right there with them.
no, I was with them.
Pretty good to
And
be with those guys, especially Al Unser.
the car wasn't that good. We had to work to make the car. What happened? As it always happened to me, you need money. Without money, you can't better the car because you don't have money to put in the car. So
Yeah.
anyhow, they push, and we went to second race was in Mid Ohio.
Mid Ohio. Okay. Yep.
A torturous track for me. It was twist, twist, twist. I qualified 10th again, and there were 100 and something laps. I was by the lap 50 asking to Lee Kunzman, who was a team manager, say, "Hey, Lee, how many laps to go? You're only halfway through the race." No, my arms are shivering. So I screwed up many, many times. I finished 10th again.
Yeah.
Although screwing up many, many times, went off and ran wide, and I finished 10th. Then we went to the third event.
On that race, quickly, I actually found some footage. I fell into a YouTube wormhole about 3 o'clock in the morning on Friday, and I found some footage of you racing against Garza and Steve Chassis for a few laps, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. I was like, "Did I dream that?"
Well, there's
But
plenty of
cool
pictures.
footage.
There's plenty of pictures of me with Emo Fittipaldi, with Jose Legarza,
Yeah,
with I think Teo Fabi. I can't remember, but they were there. We were all together,
Yeah.
So
Cool.
nothing. And then We went
Sorry,
on
I
to the
cut in there. Was it Montreal, wasn't it? Was the next one?
Yeah, the last one was in Montreal. We went to Montreal event in Sun Air, and we were doing fantastic. We were going forward like crazy, and I got over enthusiastic behind Danny Sullivan, and he got dirt air, and in turn 3, and I lost the tail,
Right.
bit the wall, and really the car was a mess, and I was inside there. There's footage of that too, if you want to see it.
I'll have a look,
And
yeah.
they simultaneously there was another accident in turn 1 with Bobby Rahal and Jacques Villeneuve, uncle, not the
Oh yeah,
kid.
Jack Villeneuve Senior. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Interesting fact. Your first
uh,
race in IndyCar, that was his
yes,
only IndyCar win, wasn't it?
yeah.
There you
So
go.
they were challenging the first place, and they took each other off.
I
You
see.
know, so nothing. I got a big shunt. They took me out. They flew me out to the Methodist hospital. I was in there for about 10 days.
Oh really?
Went out. Yeah, I didn't have one bone broken, but my body collapsed for the severity of the banging against the wall. In fact, the doctor told me, "You're lucky you're alive, because I mean, you're strong head. The cables that hold your brain are strong."
Yeah. The
Because you
important bits.
the wall fast, man. I beat up 300 and something kilometers an hour. So uh, nothing. After that, I went to. I was trying to get money to fix the car
Yeah.
because I felt guilty. So I found the money to fix the car, but unfortunately, for Laguna Seca, another kid came with more money and
Was
put
that
me out.
Scott? Was that Scott Brayton?
The kids that got killed, I can't
Yes.
remember.
Yeah, Scott Brayton. He qualified on pole for the Indy 500 and then was killed. And yeah,
Yeah, that kid.
yeah, Scott
Nice
Brayton.
kid. It was fantastic guy. I
Yeah.
mean, the only difference between him and I, he had money. I didn't have a penny.
Yeah.
But sad that happened. And at the end of all that, I said to myself, I don't want to live like this. I used to go to a race, go back to an airport, sleep in an airport, wondering what's going to happen to me next.
Yeah.
I said, that's
Or,
it.
or
I'm
just go
poor.
home and have a pepper.
I'm poor. I have to realize that. Better go to have a normal life. I didn't want to go back to Argentina, so I stay in the States,
Right.
working, selling cars with a Scottish friend of mine, so that I met in England. So he used to work selling British Jaguars and Aston Martins and
Okay.
Jeeps and Alfa Romeos from Italy.
Hmm.
So he gave me a job, and I started selling cars, and then off he went. I made friends in the trade and went on to work for BMW, and I was a top gun at BMW for a long time. Then we bought a dealership, a small dealership. We made it grow, and BMW gave us another. Then we got another more big, and one
Wow.
day I decided that I was bored to be doing what I was doing, and in 89, and
Right.
I met this fellow that used to come and buy 4 or 5 cars a month, and very cheerful, nice fellow. And I say, tell me the truth. What do you do for a living? You don't sell these cars and make a living. No, I have a mining company in Africa. What? Mining company? What do you get? Gold and diamonds. Oh, well,
You
look,
were like,
my partner is an
really?
Australian. He used to mine opalo. He would love to meet you, because he always talked to me about these Australian adventures, like topos going underground, grabbing
Yeah,
this.
because obviously it's Australia is the big opal capital, isn't it? It's where in
Yeah.
the outback there. Yeah.
Well, I put them together. And we start talking, like cacatuas there. And all of a sudden, Max said, I'll go take a look of that because we were all bored. We were a British guy, an American guy, an Australian guy, and me Argentinian partners. The American guy was bored to death with his life. Uh, and the three of us, we wanted excitement. Me, because I was used to being racing and I missed it like crazy. I wanted to do something, that business of making money. Um, and no excitement was strange. So, and off I went. In 1990, we sold everything and we went to Liberia, West Africa, to try to make it.
Wow.
Unfortunately, we I end up in another war.
Yeah,
That's it.
I didn't want to say anything, but I just thought you've gone from the Falklands conflict to another civil war in West Africa.
Unbelievable.
How soon after you arrived in Liberia did it all kick off, so to speak?
I mean, we knew about the unrest. We knew
Yeah.
about the political issues they were having. Um, but the commercial guy from the United States said to us, don't worry, they're going to come, they're going to knock off the president, and in a week or two, everything ends, and everybody happy again. You'll be another fellow there preceding the country, and you guys gonna be able to work and do whatever you like, pay the taxes, take the gold, take the diamonds, do whatever. No problem. You go with confidence. And off we went. We took our hubs, all our money, because we had to make a large investment to get there. And we got there, and as soon as we got there, things got uglier and uglier and uglier, and all of a sudden they were just boom, 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 and we have to move away from the city to a place called Bush, Rhode Island. We end up in an hospital, renting a house. We thought that being in a hospital, was going to bombard us or come to kill us. Um, and now all of a sudden we were prisoners of this bloody war they had between them. It was a civil war. It was a civil war, and we stayed a lot of time, kept in there, not going out, just doing the little as possible while they were fighting. They couldn't kill the guy, so it got uglier and uglier and uglier. And then one day, all of a sudden, I was uh, in my place with a lot of my buddies. Some soldiers came home, um, taking everybody that was white face. So they took us 5, 6 white faces. They took us to their base, and they start calling uh, to the Belgian government, to the American government, to the um, 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 Lebanese, German. We were a bunch of guys there. A Greek was there, and saying, well, you got to stop this war. You got to stop this guy. This is a mess. Uh, Thousands of people are dying. In fact, I think a million people died in that war.
Wow.
And so we were taken to this place, kidnapped or hostage, whatever you want to call it. And we stayed there for half a year, man. It was very depressing. In fact,
What was going on when you were there? What did you do?
nothing. We were sitting in there doing nothing,
Just
absolutely nothing. Listen to the BBC World News. Uh, I'm shivering to death every time the Americans came with the helicopters on top of us, choo, 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 choo. And the guys came with the machine guns pointing at us. So we thought, well, we're gonna die. Sometime we're gonna die in this because it's taking too long. This,
like you'd almost accepted the fact that
yeah,
this is going to be it.
yeah.
Jeez.
I accepted the fact. I was wondering to myself, what the heck have I done in my life to deserve this crap?
Yeah.
I go to race in England. Um, the two countries get pissed off with each other for some piece of land in the middle of nothing.
Which is
Now I come here to work, and somebody gets pissed off with each other, and they take me kidnapped as a hostage, thinking that I'm American because I came from America, you know?
God,
So
dear.
it
That's
was a funny
unreal.
part because when the guys interview us after a while, uh, he said, I'm this, I'm that. When they come to ask me, he say, and what can I do to you, US government? I say, I'm not American, I'm Argentinian. And the guy say, oh, Argentinian, Maradona. It was so funny. It was so funny. Uh, yeah, Argentina, yeah. Well, what Argentina can do for you? Ain't gonna charge you Argentina for taking me. Ain't gonna give you nothing, buddy. Forget it. You could keep me, you could do whatever you like with me, they ain't gonna do nothing for me.
Wow.
In fact, that was what happened. They couldn't do nothing for me. But
Wow. That's
one
incredible.
day, after all the time, something must have happened. They called the press, they brought the bus, uh, they took us pictures, the press, they interview us. I came out on BBC World Radio talking, and off the press went, and we said, "Oh man, now we are fucked. They're gone, and we're still here." They were gonna release us theoretically, and in the end, the guy put us in a bus, took us all the way to a joint place in Bush Road, and they left us go. Man,
Jeez.
what a happy day it was for me.
I was going to say, I mean, what were you thinking when you got out of
I
there
mean,
and you thought, I'm
yeah,
out into the real world again almost?
I mean, see people again, going back home. I mean, my home in Liberia, I'm talking about. It was great. Having a shower. I mean, eating food that I wanted. Having a glass of beer. I mean, it was amazing,
All
amazing.
those simple little things that
Yeah,
they
I
did.
mean, you realize when you are in such a big stress, how important are small things.
That,
So, and I didn't give up. The American embassy called me and said, we want to talk to you. They come and pick me up. They took me to the embassy. Uh, I gave information that they want to know, and I said, well, we have a boat outside international waters. We could lift you up with the helicopter, leave you in the in this uh, big ship, and then you could take another helicopter to Freetown in Sierra Leone,
oh,
and then you can go back home if you wish. And I said, nah, I'll stay. I'll stay because I had my money. I had
yeah,
all I
it
had
was
in
all
my
invested
life
there.
was there. So we stay and hopefully we could work. We said slowly and
Wow.
surely we were able to work and pay the bills. And by 93, my birthday, February 14, 93, they tried to kill me. Many times they tried to kill me, but that day I was so close that I said to myself, screw it. I don't owe any more money. I don't owe my investors. I don't owe no one a penny. What am I here? I can't
Yeah.
work because no gasoline, uh, no means. Uh, I'm gone. So off I went. I went the day after my birthday, and I arrived to Argentina in March 1983,
Right.
and I stay here. Uh, I got married, I got kids, I got a family. I continue doing some bit of racing here and there, and that's life, and that's it.
Wow. Honestly, that's the most amazing thing I've ever heard on this chat. I mean, it's just the way you said, oh, they tried to kill me a load of times. But
I
I
have
mean,
tales. I have wonderful tales. While we were still able to go to uh, La Côte d'Ivoire, the little country below Liberia,
yeah,
I used to have a tanker that I go and buy 5,000 liters of diesel because the machines were working all with diesel. So we went on, bought, bought the diesel, and we were coming back with my buddy that was driving the tanker. And I see a jet that goes by and then goes all the way around and passes again on top of us. And I say, I don't like this.
this isn't
So
right.
I crawled to the top and I saw the guy was doing all the way around and heading on us. And I said to my buddy, I say, stop and let's get off this because I have a bad feeling. And it was like that, man. They We ran 50 meters inside the bush, and the guy gave us a 20 caliber explosive bullets, and it was nothing. I mean, it was amazing. It exploded like a bomb, and off I went, 100 kilometers away in the bush. 1 week walking. I mean, it, it happened also the weird things, you know. I mean,
Goodness me, that,
yeah, yeah.
that's this is amazing. This is wow. I mean, never a dull moment. Never, it's never quiet. That's amazing. I
Yeah,
mean,
it was
I can
strong.
I can definitely understand why you thought I don't need this anymore. I'm going back home.
Yeah, no, but I didn't give up, because
Well,
they
yeah,
tried to kill me again because while we were not able to work or do nothing. I had a friend of mine that was a doctor, so obviously he had a place where he used to get people sick, get people wounded. So I say, I give you a hand. I'm a ham operator. I'm a radio operator, so I know how to handle radios. So I start doing uh, for Medicine Sans Frontiers, you know, some transmission for them.
yeah,
From Portishead, which was British, we used to bridge and pass information to get medicine, food, blah, 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 to Liberia. So um, one day I was there trying to help people like we used to. And a soldier came over, wounded, and we assist him, but we didn't have tools. He had an arm broken, so
right.
to be able to fix his arm, we needed prostheses, and we didn't have nothing to do that. So all we could do is just, you know, get it strong with a stick, uh, wrap it
And
up,
just
and that's it, man. Get your arm there, and the guy was pissed off and took the gun and put me in the head. Um, I was It was a moment because the guy was drunk too. You know, they used to in the bush the the drugs that usually people consume in the outer world is normal.
yeah,
It's just a plant, you know, it's just a bush. So
yeah,
they smoke, sniff, uh, drink, you know, alcohol, and the guy wasn't entirely with his, things on up there.
yeah. It was. Yeah, it wasn't quite.
He was cuckoo. He was cuckoo. So luckily, I saved myself. And then there were other ones, like the one on my birthday. They came to kill me just because they wanted to steal from me the radios. They heard that I had a radio in my operation and I have a radio in my house, which was correct. I had radios to operate. And they came that night and they knock on my door. No lights. I mean, imagine, totally dark. They knock on
Yeah.
my door. I thought it was my buddies. They were coming for because it was my birthday. We were going to have a party in a Lebanese house. He had gasoline to run the uh, generator, and he had fridge to get cold beer, and
Yeah.
And luckily, the guys came before and stood in the back of my house. And when the guys came, we won the radio. We're gonna kill you. They beat me with the pistol and started shouting. The guys heard the problem, came and came around and grabbed them. Three guys, and I felt very close there. I, that's when I said, "That's it, man. What am I doing here? I mean, this is not for
That
me."
that would do it.
Yeah,
That would be the final straw. My
yeah.
goodness.
That made the draw, and I had a little bit of money kept in Abidjan, the commercial capital of
Love
La Côte d'Ivoire,
of the other.
and
Yeah.
I had some local money, so I pay because they were retainers through the bush.
Right.
So you got to pay them to let them go by. And I crossed the bridge because it's divided by a river, the countries. And I said, "Peace out. You don't see me no more here. Screw it."
Wow.
And I'm
Wow.
able to tell these stories, Maybe if I stay, I don't know. It was too rough. And
Yeah.
the war continued for many, many years. So,
Yeah. It was going right through the 90s, wasn't it? It
yes,
was going
it
all the
was
way
almost
through.
10 years killing each other. Lunatics. I mean, no, I never understood why people makes a war, but
Yeah. Well,
uh,
we've always said that when there's a war, no one wins, do
it,
they?
it,
No one ever wins. It's just a
correct.
complete waste
It's
of time.
always about money. I don't understand that. I don't
Yeah.
really
That's
understand
the
it.
thing. But
Hustle for money. I mean, money is good for the things. If you don't have it, fine. But just go kill people for money is just too much.
yeah. No, there's no need. No. So I've just spotted a couple of things in the comments here. We've got like Marion Speed has said this should be a film. They should make a film about all this. People have said agree, but there's a great question actually, which I might put to you. If they were to make a film about this, not to glorify it, but just to tell a story, who would play Quique in the film?
Well, uh,
Because he says you're amazing, cheerful character,
uh,
and
there's
need someone
one
to play it.
movie. There's one movie which is shoot in Sierra Leone. Is I can't remember the title. Something about blood diamonds and diamonds of blood or something like that.
Oh yeah, that rings a bell.
Yeah, well, if you see that movie, you see me. The only difference that I'm alive and the silly guy didn't go out in time and they kill him because I was doing those things. I mean, I got involved in all sort of things, buying diamonds, selling it, uh, assisting the guy, which was one of the rebels, because I had no other choice. So it was crazy. I got to a point that I look at myself in the mirror and say, "What the heck are you doing here, man?" And that was it.
Enough's enough. Yeah.
It's enough. I don't know about
Okay.
making a movie. I've been told to make a book,
I was just gonna say it'd be a great book. I'd buy it.
but
I honestly.
and the only one who could write something strong about my life is Stuart, because he
That's
knows a
dangerous,
lot.
isn't it?
He knows things that I
That's
don't know about
dangerous, isn't
me.
it?
It's funny. The guy is so intellectual that
Well,
digs into things that nobody
he
knows.
actually said to me. He actually said to me, he goes, I think I know more about Quique than he does.
Of course, I believe it. There's a lot of guys that know more about me that. But
Yeah.
anyway, in August next season,
Yeah.
you see the movie Ayrton Senna, so you will be able to see a whole one part of my fight with Ayrton or my moment in Formula 4 with him, which is quite good. It's going to
Yeah.
come out in Netflix. And
Fantastic.
the guy who does my part, he has a hair more or less that I have. It was so
Yeah,
cool.
like you're the yeah.
I met him because he was done here in Argentina, the movie. So
Okay.
I went to assist the productions, uh, coaching them how was the relationship and blah 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 blah. So that was quite good. It's going to be enjoyable to see something that happened 44 years ago.
Fantastic. I look forward to that. That's just put me in mind. I know that you tuned into the chat we had with Chris
Yes.
Whitty a couple of weeks ago, and he said that was that the film that he was talking about? He said you flew in a load of Japanese people to recreate Suzuka in Argentina and things like that,
Amazing. Uh, they called me.
and
I
it was
went
for
to
that.
I went to Buenos Aires circuit, right? Then because there was shooting going on, they said the authorities tell me you gotta park your car there and walk through the tunnel. We have a tunnel to get to the pits when
Right.
shooting or cars are racing. Um, so I went out and when I head off, came out. I was in Suzuka, man. It was plenty Japanese, everything painted like Suzuka because I know the place. I was there. Uh, it was amazing. I mean,
Wow.
all the addictaments they were using, the to take times. I mean, it was the boxes, the pits. It was amazing. And all cars,
And it just looked the
it
same.
was just mock-ups. Naturally, they were not real ones, but you had all the cars of those days uh,
Wow.
that
That's
there was
incredible.
racing. That was incredible. Then I went on to the
Fantastic.
other shooting, my part, the Formula 4 part, and the Formula 3 part, which big guy in the movie is Martin Brundle because he's another guy that suffered Ayrton, and it was quite good seeing Ayrton's and and Martin Brundle's car, my car, Alfie Toledano's car, Rick Morris' car. It was really fantastic. It was
Brilliant.
a couple of shooting days that amazed me. And now with Chris, we work a little because they need to get the sounds of the cars because the
Right.
cars, the mock-ups, they run with a small Opel engine, so they
Sure.
need to make that fantasy of the noise.
Make it a bit.
So we try to get some, the Tolemans, particularly Chris, because he was heavily involved with Tolemans,
Isn't it?
Formula
Yeah.
4, Formula 3. Now they need to get the V10 and V12 engines, the McLarens,
To
and they're working on that for the movie. So
Wow. That's a must watch now. Yeah. We've got Keith Mail has just said that he hadn't heard about the Senna series, but
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
must watch.
it's gonna
Absolutely.
it's gonna come in August next season in Netflix. It's gonna be, I
Right. There
think,
we are.
5, 6 parts, which
Okay.
is gonna comprise Ayrton's life up to his death.
Up to Imola. Wow, that is a must watch. So yeah, there you go, folks. August next year, Netflix.
Yep.
Get on it. Just very quick. I mean, you've touched on it there. Obviously, people who have seen it before will know that up there. There's a picture of Ayrton Senna behind me. Obviously, you knew him very well, and incredibly sad when we lost him. Terribly sad, and a huge shock to all of us. Obviously, it was a terrible weekend. Not to belittle what happened to Roland Ratzenberger, nobody would ever do that, or the crash that Rubens had, or anyone
Yeah,
else. But Ayrton losing him, it just hit everyone differently, didn't it? And I guess with you knowing him and having raced against him, 10 years or so before, I guess it was a shock to you as well.
absolutely, man. I mean, we continue seeing each other. I mean, he became a big shot in F1, but we continue talking to each other. We continue seeing each other. In fact, the last time I saw him was, I think it was in the Arizona Grand Prix. I can't remember the name of the Grand Prix. He was
Was it
Phoenix, Phoenix,
on the streets
Phoenix
of
Grand
Phoenix?
Prix. That was the last time we got all together. Martin, Sergio Ringland. I mean, we were a very nice table of good old buddies, you know. That was the last
Yeah.
time I was living in the States then.
Right.
And that was the last time we saw each other live during that
Wow.
Grand Prix. Then thereafter, we continued talking to each other for my birthday, for his birthday, for, you know, technology helped us to keep connecting to each other. So it was a big impact weekend because Rubens
Yeah.
really, really was tough.
He got lucky.
Then poor old
Yeah.
Roland having that misfortune of no the real
Of the win.
win, losing his
Mm.
life in a stupid way. And
Yeah. It was
Ayrton,
just a freak. It was a freak accident, wasn't it? With the wing getting
yeah,
stuck
man,
under.
the whole weekend was freak. The whole weekend wasn't good. I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't good. It wasn't good, and he ended up the worst possible way. But
Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
that's the way life goes. Uh,
Yeah.
as I said to you, uh, when we think of Rick Morris and I, we still could tell stories, and it's very nice. It's very nice
Yeah.
to be here. I mean, I might not
Yeah.
be the F1 driver that I dream of, but I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy about having family, kids, and life continues. And
Yeah.
always in my heart, the good old British days. And every time I go to England, I feel at home, man. I just get there, jump in the car on the other side, and off I go. No problem. I do it like I never stop doing it. It's quite
Uh,
amazing. It's quite amazing how comfortable
Fantastic.
I feel. And, you
I
know,
mean that's a great way to look at things, you know. And obviously, you wanted to get to F1 and do all the things, but you
eh,
said, "Look, I'm here. I'm happy. I've had some fun. I've had some good times, bad times, and we're just happy to be where we are." Which is, I think, what we all need to remember, don't we? We need
well,
to remember that.
that's what you get of life. The good old moments, the stories to tell. And, I could not change one bit of my life. I'm actually happy to what happened with me. Uh,
Fantastic.
although I
I
couldn't
think
do
you've
what I
done a
wanted
lot
to do.
more in your life. You've done a lot more in your life than most people have done. Honestly,
That's
it's
that's what I say. That's what I say.
yeah,
A lot of
it's
people,
incredible.
a lot of people just live their lives, you know, home, work, work, home, holiday, 1 week, 2 weeks, home. I had plenty of
And
fun,
then
man. I had plenty of fun. Uh,
and that's what life should be about. It should be about fun.
that's correct.
Have fun whenever you can.
Everybody
Um,
should have a good life. In a way or other, uh, uh, people should have, go to another place on earth when we passed away, leaving a good seed, a good uh, uh, person that you you could be.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always say that we're here for a good time, not a long time.
Mm,
That's the way I try and do things.
yeah.
No, that's great. That's a great way to look at things. I mean, just to very quickly sort of wrap up, I'm going to do some fun questions in a moment. But I mean, very quickly, I mean, you've been involved in motorsport in bits and pieces over the last 20, 25 years or so. You've sort of you had your own little touring car team in Argentina. You did some racing and worked as a consultant. You've been head of the Argentinian Porsche GT3 Championship and things. I mean, so you've been around motorsport, haven't you, for
Yeah, I've been in
as
motor
far as
racing all my life, basically. In one way or other, I have been connected. Um, I was totally away from motor racing, growing my kids, and just being a normal human being working. And one day they came up to me and say, "We would like to take the Porsche Cup to Argentina. Would you like to be the consultant to do the job?" And I said, "My God!" And then off and I did it. I went to Brazil. I moved to Brazil 2 years to learn. put it the Porsche GT3 Cup Argentina in the picture. But unfortunately, everything went wrong. I mean, Argentina was going down, 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 down. Uh, then the pandemic came, and that's it. That was all.
Yeah,
We finished.
everything.
We couldn't continue losing money. So we didn't sell nothing. We sent it to Portugal. I have the cars in Portugal, and where they are operating the Iberic Porsche GT3 Cup, and we're going through our second year there. I also sent the Formula 4 cars because I wanted to run Porsche Cup and Formula 4 cars. Uh,
Right.
so everything is over there, and it's working. I mean, but it's fun. I mean,
Yeah.
auto racing is
Right.
fun anyway.
Absolutely. And again, we come back to it. It should be about fun.
It
If you
should
can
be
make it
about
happen and
fun.
enjoy it, do it.
You have to have fun in life. If you don't have fun, it's oh man, everything
If it,
problems, problems, problems. But really, the world is crazy lately. I don't know, pandemic, then the Ukrainian war. Uh, that's
it's just all going, isn't it?
absolutely nuts. You know.
Now we've got
Uh,
obviously in Israel and Palestine, it's
now,
all like
now we got this Hamas
escalating there.
nuts killing Palestinians and killing Israelites. I mean, I just don't know. The world is going crazy,
It's just
But
not a way to. It's not a way to spend your life, is it? It's
poor
because I think
people.
when we all come to the end, and we've got our last few hours on this earth, and if you haven't had fun, you're going to regret it. I think
Yeah,
so. We've
that's
got to
the
enjoy ourselves.
that's the way it is. That's the way it is.
Absolutely. Just quickly, you mentioned your son. He's been racing in the Porsches on the over here in the Carrera Cup GB. He's raced in the GT Series TCR South America. Is he planning on getting out racing and doing a bit more?
Now, well,
Hopefully.
Dorian is a good driver. Uh, I prepare him in go karts. He raced in go karts from the age of 11, 12, up to when I sent him to England in 2017, I think. Uh, I went on to test him in the Formula 4, and he was okay. He did quite okay. But when we saw the budgets to grow to where we wanted to do, I said, "There's no way I could do this. Why am I going to burn all the money in 1 year? I know how it is. I understand it. It's no point." So we decide to make the Formula 4 championship, FIA F4 championship in Argentina, bought 12 cars to get him, to get involved, train him here, wait for better times that never come because we always worse here. And in the meantime, we were with the Porsche. So I asked Porsche if they could support me sending one guy to race him in the Porsche Super Cup. And I say, "What about my son?" He said, "Yeah, one Mansilla. Yeah, we like Mansilla." So I went, I put some money, they support me a little, and off I went. Dorian, all of a sudden, drop off a go-kart, a Rotax go-kart, and started his racing career along Formula One in the Red Bull circuit. So I
Wow.
raced all that season along with Formula One, which was a fantastic experience. But it was too much for him because stepping off a go kart, going to a Porsche Super Cup,
It's a
uh,
huge,
huge step.
big
So,
step.
so I said to the guys at Porsche, say, well, you know, they said to me, no, we'll send it to the Belgian one or the French one or the German one, but it's also very competitive. Blah blah blah. I said,
Yeah.
well, I don't want that. I want to send the guy to England. So contact the British series manager in England, and we send the kid up there to continue. developing him in what I thought that I could do accordingly to my pockets. So
Sure.
if I went to England, the guys were fantastic. They took me, they helped me, they support me. But then the pandemic came. I put the money that I had, and then the sponsor said, "No, we can't spend money on this." So, ciao
Sure.
Mansilla. So the team was very supportive. Um, they helped him a lot. Uh, but again, without money, ain't work because you got to put tires, you got to change brake pads and discs, and you got to change dampers, and then you got to drive. But
Yeah.
without those black things that take contact with the ground, ain't happening. So
Yeah.
you know, so off we finished racing, and then because I got involved after the Porsche Cup with the TCR South American Championship by having a team, a friend of mine say, "Can you give me Dorian for one race?" I say, "Yeah, take him." I gave him a little money, so he did a fantastic job. He was challenging second spot in one race and exploded the front right tire. So he retired. And in the second race, he finished third. And but then once again, to play this game, you need money, and I don't have
Right.
it. So and no sponsorship now whatsoever in Argentina. So Dorian decided to bail off from motor racing. He changed his mind and start
Okay.
making a job like everybody. It's a little different. He does export things from China to the US and sell
Okay.
products, golf items, and he's doing very
Cool.
well. All he says,
Excellent.
all he says now, he said to me, "Dad, I might have to start racing when I'm a little older. I gotta make money so I have money to spend it." I say, "Yeah, that's the way. Just
It's a good idea.
enjoy it."
Yeah.
Obviously, to do a racing career, you need to have a lot of backup, which an Argentina don't have easily. So that's it.
Yeah.
Life.
No, if you don't have the money, you can't spend it. So go and get the money, and then
Yeah, that's
do what you
that,
want.
that's what he's doing. Getting the money, then later we'll spend it.
Yeah. Fantastic. Right. Brilliant. No, thank you for covering that. Got some fun questions here. One of them actually is just tied in with what Andrew Bishop, evening Andrew, has just put um, in the comments. He said, "What are the chances of Franco Colapinto being in F1 and F1 returning to Argentina in future?" Which is what I've got on here. Obviously, Franco is probably the next big hope, I guess, for Argentinian
Yeah,
progress into F1.
but
And is he F2, isn't he? He's just moved up to F2, I think.
well,
I think.
he's been working hard. Franco,
Hmm.
I know very well him because I know him from little because he used to race with Dorian. Um, I know his father very well. His father is a great guy. He really put plenty for to get to where he got, and that's good for the father. Um, Really, he always been with a lesser car than others.
Hmm.
I believe he has the talent. Uh, Now again, it's all about money. I hope you
Good
know
time.
we we recently 3 days ago we changed governments in Argentina,
Yeah. Yeah, I saw. Yeah.
which which I hope they honor what the other government signed for him, and that's all I could say. Uh,
Okay.
in both ways, he has sponsors over there because he has earned that. So I really do hope that he gets there. It's going to be a
Yeah.
tough because as you go up, racing ways is easy, but money ways is harder.
Yeah.
So, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Uh, Obviously, Argentina uh, always because of Fangio, because Gonzalez with Ferrari were icons of motor racing. we love to have the Grand Prix again. Um,
Yes, because it was 1998, wasn't it? I think was the last one.
Correct.
98, I
The
think.
last one was 98.
God,
And
25 years. My goodness.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's sad. It's very sad that,
Yeah.
I mean, no one could get there because it's got very difficult. Our money is worth nothing. So the standards that you have in Europe are so high that for us is very tough. So
Yeah.
I hope, as you say, that he keeps being the the person who will motivate uh, sponsors and
Yeah.
government to keep continuing supporting what his father started, which is not easy, and he got it
Yeah.
very far, because he. In fact, I feel after me, he is the only guy that got there so close because
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna mention this. I really do feel that he is getting close to where I was in
Yeah.
1982. So I do hope that he
Yeah.
makes it. Really, really, we need that kind of. I mean, football is nice. The Pumas with the rugby are nice. Uh,
And
but
you
motor
guys are
racing
quite
is
good at football.
better, motor racing is better, at least for us anyway. And so
Yeah.
we race
But
cats.
you guys are quite good at football. We know that,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we were champions. We did very well in the rugby. Um,
Yeah.
we do well sports. We have good talents. We
Yeah.
don't have institutions that protect us, like Racing from Britain and those organizations that you guys have that support the kids to continue growing in a sport which draws good habits, leaves good ideas to the other kids. This is not about night alcohol, drugs, no, nothing of that. That's just
Yeah.
sleeping, exercise, efforts, um, getting up early. I mean, being there. So that's good. It's very healthy.
Yeah. Fantastic. And hopefully we can, as you say, hopefully Franco or someone else can come up and
I
yeah.
think if it's not
Or Keith
Franco,
Mail.
I don't think if
I
it's not Franco, it ain't gonna be another 25 years. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll be Franco then.
I
Fingers
hope
crossed. He's in a good place. He's doing. Oh, hang on. Yeah, Keith Mayer has said, "Let's not get into football." 1986. He's kind of self quoted.
no, no, no. Let's not talk
Let's let
about
it go. Let
Maradona.
it go, guys.
Let's not talk about Maradona and the cheating goal. Sorry, guys.
We'll leave it. We'll
Hey,
leave it.
there's
Yeah,
nothing
in
I
the
can do.
past.
It's already past, expired.
Long gone. Long gone. Right. Okay. Let's just have a few little fun questions here at the end here. One thing I do want to say. Agustin Canapino, what a driver! Absolute superstar in the touring cars and doing brilliantly in IndyCar. Love him. Love him.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
He is a brilliant
Brilliant
guy.
driver.
I hope he
Great driver.
also gets his contract honored, so he could continue. He did a good job,
Yep.
despite being from, uh, touring cars.
Yeah.
It's not easy
It was a
to
good
jump
jump.
from a touring car to an Indy car. I know that.
Mm,
Indy
mm,
cars are very tough to drive, very
yeah.
competitive. You really have to work to go fast in that. So I cross my fingers for him too, so he could represent us in the USA.
Yeah, absolutely. Very impressive. Um, okay, few little fun questions. Is there a series that you would have loved to have had a go apart from F1? Is there something you'd have loved to have done? Whether maybe stay in IndyCar, do the Indy 500, or NASCAR, or
No,
Le Mans,
NASCAR.
or anything like
I
that?
never thought about cars with touring cars. In fact, I don't like
Yeah.
them. But
Okay.
no, I don't like them. It's not my kind of. I like something aggressive, fast,
Yeah.
uh, brutal. No, when I moved to America, I moved because I said I would probably not make it to Formula One because politics. So
Sure.
my only chance is going to be IndyCars. But I got worn out, too many years alone, feeling not important. Argentina didn't give a damn about me. Uh, so I don't know. At the end of that 85, I felt so alone, so tired,
Yeah.
that I said, "That's it. Give up, Mansilla. It's time to go on."
Yeah. Time to move on. It's fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you stopped on your own terms, which is which is always a good thing.
I would love to do a
Um,
Bathurst race. The Bathurst?
yeah.
Fantastic
Oh,
racetrack, man.
on the bucket list.
Fantastic.
The bucket list
Yes,
for me has been Indy 500, Daytona 500, Bathurst,
yes.
and
What else? What
I
else?
think Pikes Peak. I'd like to do the
Oh,
Pikes Peak, the hill climb.
I speak. Well,
That'd be cool.
Paul Dallenbach does it.
Yes, yeah, he's
Paul does
yeah.
it. He has a that
Paul Page,
monster car
the
that
IndyCar.
goes up there.
The crazy, yeah.
That's
But yeah.
dangerous too, eh?
Oh,
That's dangerous,
absolutely
man.
ridiculous.
Ridiculous, because you got no protection, nothing. You just go up, 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 up.
If you get it wrong,
Make a mistake, you go down. You fast.
you are finished. Yes. Bathurst, absolutely. Okay. The best racing car you've ever driven?
The one the most liked. Absolutely, my Formula 3 car was fantastic because Dicky set the car in an incredible manner. When I got the pole in Cadwell Park and the outright lap record, the car was. I didn't win the race because I started badly and Roberto Moreno won. But what I'm saying, the car was so fantastic, and because my mistake, I finished second. That's it. You can't win all, but the car was fantastic. Then my Van Diemen, Ralph Firman car was fantastic. I mean, I enjoy setting the cars up. I learned from Ayrton. He said, because we had an issue that I learned from him. I always claim having oversteering, but the issue was understeering, and because you force the car into an oversteering situation, you have oversteering. So while he was saying, no, the car has understeering, I said, look, my car goes rear end off. Of course, I was doing too much wheel, forcing the car. So I learned that from him, that the important part of one car is the nose. The front end is it all. If you have a good front end, the tail, you can cure it. And so I enjoy setting up the cars. Shame that I didn't have any more experience to get closer to what I wanted, but that's the way it is. That's the way it goes. No problem.
That's how it goes. Yeah. Love that. Okay, two more questions. Okay, here we go then. Your favorite circuit you've ever raced on?
I love Alden Park. I just love Alden Park. I mean, there's so many circuits in England that I enjoyed that really there's not really one. I mean, Brands Hatch Grand Prix is fantastic. I mean, Alton is fantastic. Cadwell Park, I love it. I just absolutely love it. Snetterton was a good circuit because you got to do certain things in the back end all the way up to Ritchie's. You really have to drive. And and all circuits got their characters. I mean, you mentioned Traxton. The complex was a complex part of the track to do fast. Then the rest, the chicane is a chicane. Is nothing.
And the rest of it's just fast.
Yeah, the rest it was just flying. I mean, unbelievable. Even in Formula 2 cars, it was easy. It was just a complex to do it properly, to get out of the complex really up to here, and then be able to carry the car all the way up to the chicane. And again, have a car that put the power to the ground to get to the complex. But a more challenging track for me always being Autumn, because you got to drive there. There's no chance, man. Brands that you go 2, 3 corners there, that you really have to put a lot of effort to get it right. So, and you know, that's it really. And from overseas, I don't know. Mid Ohio is a track that you really have to drive.
Yeah.
Complicated. Then Elkhart Lake was fantastic. I mean, it keeps being the same track.
That's Road America, isn't it? Now
Road America, yeah. Road America is a tough circuit to big, long, and you got plenty of places that you could make mistakes. And
is it through the kink, isn't it?
Yeah, and you pay high price for making mistakes.
Yeah.
So in the clock, no, I mean, but nothing, Laguna Seca has its character and car's crew. I don't know. Really, I love racing. I race whatever. I race in the street.
Yeah. Yeah. And any circuit's a good circuit.
Anywhere that you could hear noise of cars, it's nice.
Fantastic. Okay. Final question. And it's a terrible question because it's almost impossible to answer, but I'll ask it to everyone. You've raced against a lot of drivers, some great drivers from different series. I'm going to name just a few. I mean, you mentioned like Jonathan Palmer, you raced against Mike Thackwell, you raced against Philip Streff, Christian Danner, Joe Gartner, Alessandro Nannini, Stefan Beloff, our friend Kenny Atchison, raced against Tommy Byrne, the Unzers, Mario Andretti, you've raced against Johnny Rutherford, Sullivan, Ray Hall, Moreno, Giacomelli, Brundle, Fittipaldi.
I raced against a lot of people.
Ayrton Senna. I mean, you've shared the track with some amazing drivers. I mean, are there any that, for one reason or another, just stand out, whether they're the best or the quickest or the most aggressive or the biggest pain in the backside? Or
you mean to say after Ayrton?
Yeah,
Ayrton,
I guess after.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ayrton was the toughest guy I ever raced with. And the other guys, no, the other guys are, they're racers. I mean, I enjoy driving with all of them because he wasn't as tough as he could be with Ayrton. Ayrton was just a pain in the ass. But
that's going to be the headline.
But it's the way it is. I mean, you learn of these guys. You learn of these guys. That's the bottom line. His character, his personality, his convictions, his way of life. He was an outstanding out of the era guy. Yeah. And I had the privilege to race and beat him. And that's great. Don't ask no more. There's nobody else out there that really complicated my life as much as he did. The other guys, we race, that's fine. You win, you lose. Okay. This guy was tough. If he can beat you, he will end up on top of you.
Yeah.
That's Martin.
As Martin found out, yeah.
It was tough. It was a tough cookie. Yeah.
Yeah, that's lovely. I think that's probably the perfect place, to end it. Firstly, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. I've just seen some very nice comments over in the comment section there. I'm so glad you've all enjoyed it. Thank you very much. I hope we've covered everything. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It's much appreciated. But of course, biggest thanks, go to you, Quique. It's been absolutely brilliant. It's been over 2 hours and it's flown by.
Yes. Really,
it's been brilliant. I really, really appreciate you coming on and talking about everything. It's been fantastic.
You guys are welcome. In brief, after New Year's, I got to go to England, so I'll be able to have a pint with you. All right?
Oh, absolutely. Having a pint with Quique sounds brilliant. We will get that arranged for sure.
We'll tell Stuart too that comes along.
Fantastic. Brilliant.
All right, guys.
Right. Well, thank you once again, everyone. We've got one more chat this year, and that's coming up next week. We're going to announce it tomorrow. But in the meantime, thank you again, everyone. Thank you to you, Quique, and we'll see you all very, very soon.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Bye, Luz.